Hey there, Twisters, and welcome, hockey fans. Nick here, and today I'm going to share with you my favorite player for each NHL team. So we've got 32 teams, we've got 32 players, and you're going to see quite an eclectic mix of different positions, different types of players. I'm not always drawn to the superstars out there, but I am drawn to your feedback in the comments down below. So let me know your 10 favorite players in the NHL, maybe outside of your favorite team. I think that's kind of a fun way to look at it. And let me know in the comments below if you actually want me to rank by position as well, so I could list for you my 10 favorite defensemen, my 10 favorite goaltenders. Maybe we'll have some fun with a little bit of a mini series before the regular season starts here. And if you're new here, you like all things hockey history, analysis, and culture, definitely join our growing community by tapping that red subscribe button down below. All right, let's get started with the Atlantic Division. So we'll start with the Montreal Canadiens. And for me, it's Yoel Armia, just a hard-nosed player with some scoring upside in a depth role. I do have several of those players on this list. And for the Canadiens, I know that there are lots of young talents out there for them, but I haven't really watched them all that closely. But Armia, I've watched him over the last few years, and I like the type of game that he plays. So he's it for the Canadiens. Next up for the Ottawa Senators, this is a team I don't follow too closely right now, but I think that's going to change over the course of the next few seasons. I chose Drake Batherson. It just seems like he's always a scoring threat out there for the Sens. And yeah, that's pretty much my justification there. Toronto Maple Leafs. This was a little difficult. I decided between David Kampf and Willie Nylander. And I guess among the top players out there for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I like Willie Nylander the most. I think he's a creative player. He's electric, even though he's a little inconsistent at times. I've always been excited to watch him among the main players out there, as good as Matthews, Marner, and Tavares are. For the Boston Bruins, it has to be David Pastrnak. Definitely a sniper, a power play weapon out there for the Bruins. Good two-way player, really good playmaker too. I think that those facets of his game are a little bit overlooked, but one thing that is definitely not overlooked is this guy's fashion sense. I mean, man, look at the outfits on this guy. Just absolute swagger. Full on, just supreme drip from David Pastrnak. And overall, just seems like a real chill dude. Somebody who I would be curious to actually meet off the ice, because I think he's a great character and personality for the NHL. For the Buffalo Sabres, it has to be Alex Tuch. Ever since he got traded, I was pretty enthusiastic considering he grew up in that area. He leaned right into it. He's embraced it. Maybe the future captain of the Buffalo Sabres, I would have to suggest possibly. And yeah, when he played for Vegas, that guy would just burn my favorite team night after night, especially in transition with how he's able to build up speed. A really good finisher. It just makes me excited to watch the Sabres in the next several seasons. For the Detroit Red Wings, I'm smiling here because there are definitely some great young players to watch out for on this team. Really like Tyler Bertuzzi after watching the Red Wings a little bit more closely this past season, but it has to be Moritz Seider. I mean, man, for this kid to be laying the lumber like he does out there and just how smart he is with the puck, how he's able to make these great passes in even high pressure situations. He's amazing. He looks like he's already played in the NHL for 4 or 5 years. And yeah, he's certainly going to be one of my favorite players in the NHL going forward. I love this guy. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, I chose Anthony Cirelli. I do like quite a few players on Tampa. Alex Killorn certainly comes to mind. Also Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. But for me, Anthony Cirelli is just incredible on defense. He has, I think, one of the best skill sets defensively among any player in the NHL. He's fantastic. Just watch him on the back check in the neutral zone. Just terrific. Man, he's going to be an absolute star for this team for the next several seasons as kind of a two-way player, right? He does have some offensive upside. And so, yeah, I'm happy to say that he's my favorite player on that team now. And for the Florida Panthers, now this is a little difficult because Joe Thornton was my favorite Panther before this. I also really liked Duclair. I liked Huberdeau quite a bit as well. But for me right now, it's got to be Carter Verhaeghe, the former Orlando Solar Bear. And man, watching this guy play in that series against the Capitals in the first round of this past postseason, magnificent. Just an incredibly inspiring performance. The clutch factor of this guy was off the charts. And yeah, I've definitely taken a liking to him. So Carter Verhaeghe, it's you, buddy. Let's go to the Pacific Division now, and for the Vegas Golden Knights, I've selected Zach Whitecloud. Now, of course, I could have chosen Stone, I could have chosen, Marchessault. There are definitely plenty of skilled players. Pietrangelo is my all-time favorite St. Louis Blue, and seeing him sign with Vegas definitely upset me quite a bit. So I chose Zach Whitecloud. I don't really know too much about this guy, but I think that kind of as a second pairing defenseman, he's going to be pretty good. He just extended recently 6 years, I think. And so I do look forward to seeing if he breaks out more offensively and becomes that kind of number one puck mover for the Vegas Golden Knights. For the Anaheim Ducks, kind of on a similar note, I chose Jamie Drysdale. Now, with the Ducks right now, if I were to choose maybe a favorite player that I know something about, I would say maybe Frank Vatrano, but I am really looking forward to Jamie Drysdale because all that attention right now is kind of on Zegras and McTavish and a couple other younger players out there. Lindstrom, don't forget about that guy. But for me, it's got to be Jamie Drysdale. Cam Fowler is another one of my favorite Ducks in recent years. But yeah, again, watching how that new blue line develops with his offensive capabilities, I'm sure that's something that I'll look forward to seeing some highlights of this year. And who knows, maybe he becomes a Norris Trophy caliber defenseman going forward. For the LA Kings, I chose Jonathan Quick. I think that he might go down as maybe one of the best three, if not the best American-born goaltender of all time. I think he's easily a Hall of Famer. He's won a Conn Smythe, and just the type of goaltending that we've gotten from him over his career is fantastic. I think he's been the most exciting goaltender to watch between the pipes in this era, in addition to maybe Marc-Andre Fleury. So I got to say Quickie's got to be the guy there too, even though he stole a couple series from my favorite team, which is the San Jose Sharks. And yeah, I absolutely love Tomas Hertl, Timo Meier, Logan Couture, certainly. But for me, it's got to be Mario Ferraro. The heart that this guy plays with is incredible. He plays above his weight. He'll block shots. He had to get his jaw wired shut or something like that this past season. Just what this guy does, how he lays it out there every night for the Sharks, and has just become a locker room favorite overnight. I'm just hoping that Ferraro and the team can come to an agreement on a contract extension. I'm sure that's going to happen probably before I even upload this video. But yeah, if there's somebody I want to get on a Sharks jersey, numbers stitched on and whatnot, it's got to be Mario Ferraro without question. Now for the Seattle Kraken, and even though he had a terrible year, he was like the worst in the NHL at this position, I still got to throw it down for Philipp Grubauer. Been a big fan of his ever since he played for the Capitals and eventually went to the Colorado Avalanche. They got themselves a new goaltending coach. Drieger wasn't that good last year either, so I expect a good bounce back for Drieger when he gets healthy again, and especially for Philipp Grubauer. So he is on the back of my Kraken jersey, and yeah, I do have faith in the German netminder. And speaking of netminders, let's kick it over to the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko, as I said last year, this upcoming season, Demko, Vezina finalist, unquestionable. I have full confidence in this guy. He is terrific. He's stolen a playoff series or two in his time with the Canucks. And yeah, he's just been a fantastic goaltender, a fantastic asset for them. I think that it's really cool too that he's originally from San Diego, so Californian-born hockey player there. And yeah, I wish him all the best of luck this upcoming season with the Canucks, as I think they will rebound with Bruce Boudreau at the helm. All right, and for the Calgary Flames now, they've lost a couple of players, and I did think about Jacob Markstrom, who was kind of my favorite goaltender in the NHL before he signed in Calgary, but I actually chose Rasmus Andersson, just a really good two-way defenseman, and somebody who just never seems to leave the ice. When I was watching him in the playoffs, I don't think this guy ever took a shift off. I just seem to notice him just about everywhere, seemed pretty responsible with his puck-making decisions. So yeah, it's got to be Andersson for me. And for the Edmonton Oilers, who else but Connor McDavid? Yeah, Leon Draisaitl could certainly be part of that conversation, but do I really need to go on? He's the most exciting player in hockey, at least at a forward position. I think that Cale Makar has something to say about that otherwise. But yeah, it's easily McDavid. Now let's go to the Metropolitan Division. We'll start with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I've chosen Boone Jenner. First of all, his name's Boone. That's pretty awesome. Second of all, this guy is the captain of this team. The heart and soul, has seen his career grow and mature over many years in Columbus. He does have some offensive upside. He plays a tight forechecking game. And yeah, he's just kind of an exemplary captain in the NHL. And I think that he deserves a lot more love and credit outside of his market. For the Carolina Hurricanes, baby. Oh my God. There's no way that I can pick just one, but it's got to be Brent Burns. First and foremost, it's Brent Burns because I'm a Sharks fan, right? So I'm kind of cheating here. But Burnsy, not just because he's such an interesting player to watch on the ice, whether he's doing something amazing or doing something starfishing on defense, let's just say. But he's a great dude. Brent Burns is one of my favorite players off the ice, one of my favorite personalities. Just a great guy with how he raises his family. He's got that ranch in Texas. And yeah, I just think that he would be kind of like Pasta, one of my favorites to actually meet off the ice. His charity work is great too. So anyway, Burnsy, I wish you all the best of luck. And as you guys might have seen in my team rankings video, Carolina vaults to that second position. And I mean, Burns and Slavin together, hell yes, inject that into my veins. I love Jacob Slavin. He would be the player that I would choose. Otherwise, I would say that maybe he is the most complete defenseman in the NHL after maybe Victor Hedman and Roman Josi. And it's just an absolute shame that this guy isn't a Norris finalist every season. All right, for the Washington Capitals, it's kind of just as difficult to pick one player over another. But for me, it's TJ Oshie. Again, somebody else who off the ice I would be keen to meet. I think that he's an exceptional individual. I think about his interview when he was after he raced the Stanley Cup, and rest in peace to his father, Tim. Just a tremendous player, a great weapon in front of the net, especially on the power play. And God, the clutch factor, the grit of TJ Oshie is among the best in the NHL. So I absolutely love Oshie. He's my favorite player in the NHL, not on my favorite team. Not Brent Burns. I don't know. But anyway, Ovi has to be right up there as well, of course. And of course, you see that behind me, we've got Ovi raising the cup. So he'll go down as one of my favorite players of all time as well. For the Philly Flyers, this one was difficult. There isn't one player out there who I absolutely gravitate toward, but I chose Scott Laughton, just kind of another third line sort of two-way player. I do have his jersey here from the 2012 Winter Classic when he still wore number 49. There's nothing about his game I don't like, and so I haven't really watched the Flyers that closely in the last couple of seasons, but I'll throw it down for Scotty Laughton. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, I really couldn't make up my mind. A few people asked me about this, though, in the playoffs, and I said it was Brian Dumoulin because I think he's just gone under the radar for a decade plus as one of the better kind of stay-at-home defensemen in the NHL. So I would consider Dumoulin or maybe even Jeff Carter. I thought about Teddy Bluger, kind of like Laughton, a similar player to my understanding. So I don't really know if it's Dumoulin or if it's Jeff Carter. One of the two. I don't know, both of them. Brian Carter, Jeff Dumoulin, something like that. For the New Jersey Devils, I chose Vitek Vanacek, who was recently acquired from the Washington Capitals. I just really like watching the way that he battles out there, but the way that he was able to kind of usurp that number one spot from Samsonov for a good chunk of last season, and the way that he plays in net, I do like him quite a bit, and I wish him all the best of luck in New Jersey. Nathan Bastian, a good defensive forward. Jonas Siegenthaler, I think, is a pretty underrated depth defenseman in the NHL. I've always liked him quite a bit, so I would choose those guys as well. Maybe Jack Hughes. He's certainly exciting, but I haven't watched that much of him. I'll still go with Vitek Vanacek, though. For the New York Islanders, I'm certainly a fan of Josh Bailey, Cal Clutterbuck. Brock Nelson has been wonderful for them. Anthony Beauvillier when he turns it on, but for me, it's got to be Casey Cizikas. Again, just the grit, the hustle, the defensive plays, the blocking shots. This guy does quite a bit out there. And yeah, he can definitely torch you a little bit in transition as well. So he is my favorite Islander. And I'm pretty confident to say that. And Sorokin's fantastic too. He's kind of another honorable mention there. For the New York Rangers, as a Sharks fan, it's got to be Barclay Goodrow. Just watching his career mature ever since that 2019 Game 7 goal against Vegas. He certainly was a huge asset for the Tampa Bay Lightning. His game got even better. He played with some great line mates, and then he went over to New York, and he was able to be very effective over there as well. My honorable mention, though, has to be newly acquired Vincent Trocheck. Love the way that this guy plays in front of the net and some of that nastiness that he brings as well. So good luck to both of those players next year with the Rangers. And let's finish with the Central Division. So we'll start with the Winnipeg Jets. I chose Nikolai Ehlers. Even though as a Sharks fan, it's got to be Brendan Dillon, especially off the ice. He just seems like one of the more approachable players out there in the NHL. But Ehlers is very electric. He can finish on the power play super fast. And he's Danish. And I've spent a few months in Denmark myself. So we'll go with Nikolai for that one. For the Minnesota Wild, it's got to be Mats Zuccarello. Some of you out there know I am the chairman of the unofficial Mats Zuccarello fan club because I do have jerseys for each team he's played on, with his name on the back. Kaprizov certainly could be in this conversation. Got to throw it down for Zuccarello, the lone Norwegian in the NHL. I just really have liked the hockey IQ and sort of just the way that he waits for plays to develop. So Zook, certainly cheering for you to get a cup over there, and with Marc-Andre Fleury as well. For the Chicago Blackhawks, this one was difficult because, they traded away DeBrincat, they traded away Doc, and so, yeah, there's Kane and Taves left over, but I certainly used to root against them quite a bit when they were in their heyday. So I chose Tyler Johnson because he's from Spokane. Boom, right here, Spokane Chiefs. And he's the reason why I got my picture taken with the Stanley Cup a year ago. So Johnny, we got to definitely credit him. He had his jersey retired by the Chiefs this past season. Just the second Spokane Chief after Ray Whitney, who I certainly am a fan of as well. And another guy I want to definitely give an honorable mention to is Andreas Athanasiou. Certainly not the player he's been in Detroit previously, but man, that guy in open ice, certainly one of the more exciting players in the NHL. Now for the St. Louis Blues, I love Jordan Kyrou. I don't want them to trade him away. He's terrific. There are some other players I could have considered here, but for me, it's actually Ryan O'Reilly, because this guy, if I had to draft a team specifically for the playoffs and I could choose one center in the NHL, I probably would choose Ryan O'Reilly. He's incredible. Face-off circle, defensively, power play, all situations. Just all around one of the best players we've seen in the NHL this era. I know like he's kind of like a Bergeron in that sense, but man, Ryan O'Reilly and the captain of the team too. This guy is just amazing in pretty much every facet of the game, and so I absolutely love that guy. For the Nashville Predators, now there isn't one player I've been a huge fan of over the course of multiple years there right now. Certainly used to love Pekka Rinne and Tomas Vokoun, and Saros is a great goaltender, don't get me wrong. But for me, it's Yakov Trenin. I think that guy really came on strongly for that line in the first round against the Avalanche. I think he was maybe their best forward out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that guy can do. Tanner Jeannot was another player who I liked watching as well, with how physical and just how he parks himself in front of the net. But for me, Yakov Trenin, I think he's kind of come on strongly here recently. For the Dallas Stars, it's got to be Joe Pavelski. His career has matured like a fine wine. He's a terrific leader. His first season as captain for the Sharks that go to the Stanley Cup final. And yeah, man, we miss the hell out of him. And he'll go to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. And if he somehow won a Stanley Cup and eclipsed 1,000 points for his career, I think Joe Pavelski would have to be named to the Hockey Hall of Fame as well. So wonderful, and certainly a big reason why Jason Robertson is growing into a superstar in this league. Certainly an electric player and one who I enjoy watching quite a bit as well. But for me, it's the big Pavelski. For the Colorado Avalanche, it's got to be Nathan MacKinnon. There are so many players that I love watching on this team. Makar, certainly. Devon Taves, I think, is wonderful. I love that he finished 8th in Norris Trophy voting this past season because he's amazing. Byram's great. Manson's great. Nichushkin has been a player that I've loved for the past couple of seasons as well. And man, that guy got paid. But ultimately, is there anyone more exciting than Nathan MacKinnon bringing the puck up ice on the power play? I just love watching the drive of Nathan MacKinnon. The way that he skates, the way that he makes these really quick maneuvers with his stick, even if he doesn't go anywhere with it. So anyway, I love MacKinnon, and fortunately we got to see him raise a Stanley Cup this past postseason. For the Arizona Coyotes, again, kind of hard to choose here, but I went with Karl Vejmelka, the goaltender, just because this guy was given a terrible situation, but an opportunity to earn a job in the NHL, and he earned a contract extension, and he battled quite a bit. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Vanacek. And yeah, I hope that he can stick around as the number one option for the Arizona Coyotes. I just love stories like the one for him, and so yeah, good luck to him at ASU this upcoming season. So there we go, Vejmelka. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for my favorite player for each NHL team. Who are your top 10 players in the NHL heading into this upcoming season? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this where I rank players by position, so I could list my 10 favorite centers, my 10 favorite defensemen, so on and so forth. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please show your support with a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to this channel, and follow me on social media. I've got information about that in the description, along with my information if you want to donate to the channel and show your support for me going forward. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick. I'll catch you Twisters later. Ciao.